Hello and welcome to the StudyTravel TV studios in London. I'm Matthew Knott.
And I'm Charlotte Darrell.
We're bringing you the latest StudyTravel news stories. The headlines this week: Trump travel ban partially reinstated.
New Zealand surveys show agent satisfaction and influence.
And overseas students up in the USA.
So it seems we can't keep President Trump and his travel ban out of the news, can we?
That's right. In the latest twist in the long-running saga, the US Supreme Court has partially lifted an injunction against the travel ban on 6 countries, but will allow applicants who have a bona fide relationship with people or entities in the US to travel, potentially causing more confusion for international students.
The justices of the Supreme Court have allowed the partial implementation of the ban on Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria and Yemen until October, when it will consider in full whether the policy should be allowed or struck down.
The Supreme Court ruling gives the specific example that an international student accepted at an institution would have such a relationship with an American entity, but it makes no reference to a student currently in the application process and not yet accepted.
Justice Thomas of the Supreme Court was critical of the compromise and said it would prove unworkable, and legal experts have said that the ruling is unclear on the status of students not yet accepted and on who had the burden of proof.
Implementation was due within 72 hours, and the Department of Homeland Security said it would provide further detail before it takes effect.
Next, we have positive sector news from New Zealand, where the latest international student barometers have shown the influential role of agents in the booking process and overall satisfaction with agents and providers in the English language and private training establishments, or PTEs.
Yes, the results of the biennial barometers commissioned by Education New Zealand were based on more than 3,000 responses in each sector and showed that almost 2/3 of students said that their agent was the key influencer in the choice of their institution.
Around 90% of respondents in both surveys rated the agency service as good or very good, compared with 89% in the PTE survey. Top ranking measures of satisfaction include help with visa applications and knowledge of the institution's processes.
The English language survey found 87% of respondents were either satisfied or very satisfied overall with their course, and in the PTE survey the rate was 91%.
And back over in the USA, the latest report from the Student and Exchange Visitor Programme shows a slight increase in the number of international students.
As of May 2017, there were 1.18 million active international students in the USA on F1 or M1 visas, 2% more than at the same point in the previous year.
Of those students, 77% hailed from Asia, which increased by 2.1% compared with the previous year, with China and India remaining the largest source countries.
There was growth from Vietnam and Nepal, but Saudi Arabia dropped substantially due to cuts in its scholarship scheme.
And now for a roundup of some of the other stories this week. New Zealand Education Minister Paul Goldsmith has launched a new international student wellbeing strategy aimed at enhancing the country's reputation as a safe study destination.
UK secondary provider Bellerbys College Brighton has partnered with Brighton and Sussex Medical School to offer a new Elite Medics programme for international students.
The New Zealand Qualifications Authority has stopped Imperial College of New Zealand from enrolling new international students while concerns over plagiarism are addressed. It said the situation would be reviewed in 3 months.
We can't get away from New Zealand in the news this week, can we? And finally, student accommodation provider GSA has announced its first foray into Spain with the acquisition of a portfolio of accommodation in Madrid and Barcelona.
And that's all for this week. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with more stories next week. Bye.
Goodbye.